It says we're live. I think we're live. So I guess we'll start the show. Yeah?
Yeah, we're live.
Okay. Sweet. We're gonna start it then.
We can't tell Josh, so.
No.
Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Stogies and Spirits podcast, coming to you live from the Diplomat Cigar Lounge in beautiful downtown Keene, New Hampshire. Is everybody ready? It's time to just cut, light, and suck.
Gets people every time.
Disclaimer. We are all over the age of 21 and do not condone underage smoking or drinking. Please drink and smoke responsibly.
No, just me.
Just you.
Yeah, just turn me up a little.
Oh, turn you up. Okay.
Thanks.
Hey, welcome to the show. We're gonna try something. I'm gonna try to work with these cameras because if you notice, there's a couple extra people here.
Quite a few extra people
Quite
tonight.
a few extra people tonight.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my camera isn't big enough to handle all these people. So,
Heard that.
we're gonna go. I'm gonna try to do these zoomed cameras, and we'll zoom
with
in.
me.
So we'll start with the CEO, CTO,
People.
CFO, CQO,
CIO, whatever you want to do.
DIA.
Yeah. FBI, female body inspector.
Ooh, I believe that's an inappropriate
Okay, we'll
term
not say
to
that
use,
again.
and we could get banned again. If you're watching us from TikTok, you're not, because we got banned for hateful behavior somehow. I'm not sure what that is, but hey, Josh Bazzaio, welcome to the show.
Enjoy.
It's his show, actually. I am the super producer that
Super producer.
is super
terrible producer.
producing right now. The worst producer ever. So if you ever need someone to produce your podcast, I probably won't be able to do it, but I will pretend to. Then to my right, which is just the next camera here, because we're not even looking at everyone at this point, is Mr. Gill, Mr. Sergeant Gill of the U.S. Army. You can pull that mic and
Good evening.
say something. There you go. All right. Then to his right is Mr. Mike.
Good evening.
I don't know if you want me to use your last name.
No. Just do Mr. Mike.
We'll do Mr. Mike.
Magic Mike.
Magic Mike.
That's his name.
There,
We got Magic Mike on the
Okay.
show. Dance for us, Magic Mike.
You gonna do a little TikTok dance for
shuffle,
us?
A little shuffle for us.
No.
We'll get
TikTok
banned
dancing.
again.
Yeah, that's true. We can only get banned so many times. And special guests, actually, you know what, Mike? I'm gonna let you introduce our special guests here on the
Yeah, so
end.
move over to their camera. Are you on their camera?
I'm on their camera now. Anton and Dave. Well, Mike, you can introduce them.
So to my right is Anton. He was born in Ukraine, now lives in Poland. Came over to visit. And then to Anton's right is David from the UK.
Yeah. Those are all our guests for tonight.
Those are all our guests.
Bunch of people on the podcast.
Yeah, I want to say hello.
Yeah.
Dave, you want to say hello to?
Good evening, everybody.
There we go.
Yeah, there
all
we
right.
go.
So I'm going to go to our main camera here that I usually use, and it is what it is.
Yep.
But if you want to talk about maybe what we're going to talk about, I can
Yeah, so
zoom in on
tonight
you
we're,
while you do that.
No, we're talking about the cigar we're smoking, which is the Gurkha Ghost. For an alcohol, we're drinking Jeffersons Ocean cask. Ocean.
Now, do I have that in
You do in your
my
old fashioned.
old fashioned?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which you can never taste the difference, but
I can never. Actually, this one does taste a little different, but
Does it?
we'll get to that.
all right, we'll get to that, and then we'll do a mystery alcohol tonight, which these guys don't know about, which is fun, and then we'll get into why these two gentlemen are here.
Sounds like a
Yeah.
podcast.
Sounds like a good night,
All right, let's kick it off.
right?
Where are we starting?
I don't know. What are we supposed to talk about?
We usually start with a cigar, unless we want
Yeah,
to.
we are.
Typically, we'll talk about like their stuff, but I think we will get through a lot of our normal podcasty stuff, and then jump into the switch
Yeah.
over and learn about our guests a little more.
Yeah. All right. Well, tonight we're smoking a cigar from Gurkha. Gurkha was came to be in around 1989. This is a newer one from them, the Gurkha Ghost Maduro. I like it.
Yeah.
It's a very good cigar.
All right. So,
Dark wrapper. This is a 6-inch by 54 ring gauge.
And what size does that refer to as?
They have their own sizes,
Oh.
like their own names for
So
sizes.
it's not like Turo.
No,
and-
this is like Asura. Asura is the name they use for the size.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, just different.
Sure.
Let's see, I had some notes already.
Okay.
The Gurkha Ghost series is one of the most popular released by the Gurkha Cigar Company. This is the one ghost you'll want to keep around your smoke den. We carry one size here at the shop, just the Asura.
Okay.
But we carry it both in the Gurkha Maduro and the lighter wrapper, the gold. Both these sleek, sinister cigars come packaged in lustrous black box, accented with elegant silver highlights.
Wait, they come in a black box?
These ones do, yeah. The other ones come in a gold box,
Oh, who cares?
right?
Yeah.
But if you're going into the humidor,
Oh,
that's
so
how
you know what to look for.
Yeah, that's how you look for it.
Gotcha. Okay. I like it.
The Gurkha Ghost series is made with a blend of carefully selected Dominican and Nicaraguan filler tobaccos, showcased in a tightly packed wrapper for a smooth draw and unmistakable flavor. These fillers are brought together with a 98 Dominican Criollo binder along with dark Brazilian Maduro wrapper. Yeah.
Okay. So,
They say we should get flavors of cocoa, cinnamon, light hints of barley, caramel. But I never get that stuff. What do you guys think?
This is one of the few times that I do actually get the chocolate, the cocoa with this one.
On the
Not so much-
wrapper or in the smoke?
in the smoke. I do get some sweetness off of the wrapper itself,
Yeah, definitely.
but as far as the smoke goes, I do get a little bit of that cocoa, some of the caramel, and it may be just because I didn't smoke as many cigars as I do now on this podcast.
Yeah, you smoke every week now.
Right, so maybe the palate's becoming more defined in what I'm tasting, but I definitely pick it up in this.
Good. What do you guys think?
Mike, what do you think?
What do you think, Mike?
Magic
You
Mike.
like the cigar, Magic Mike?
Smooth cigar. I'm a flavor guy, but I would definitely pick this up again.
Yeah, you usually smoke like the acid stuff.
Definitely acid.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What kind of flavor are you into?
The go-to is always the Cuba Cuba or the Cuba Maduro.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what kind of flavor do you get out of that?
It's not any kind of like specific flavor.
No, it's just.
It's an infused cigar that acid makes,
Okay.
which is from True Estate, which we've talked about before.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
What is Anton? What do you think about this? Because you're smoking it, right?
Yeah, it's actually my first cigar in my life. So,
Is it really your first cigar in
yeah,
your life?
first cigar.
Ever.
Oh my goodness.
You're our perfect person for this podcast.
Yes.
Because
I'm not an expert.
no. Neither are we.
We are not experts.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Is it enjoyable?
I'm just kidding.
Shots fired. Yeah, shots
We've been
fired.
training them all week for this.
That's awesome. Thank goodness. I love it. So, do you like the cigar? Is it somewhat easy to smoke for you?
Something new, but
Do you smoke cigarettes?
yes.
Yes. So you have nicotine intake, so this isn't going to kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as I said, it's something new, so I would have to smoke it more.
Correct.
Say more about
Yeah.
it.
But it's not off-putting.
I like the vibe.
Yeah. You like the vibe.
And
There
the
you
look,
go.
yeah,
There
it
you
looks
go.
cool.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Do you taste anything when you're smoking it? When you have it in your mouth, do you have any flavors or?
Not really. I just had few tries. So
Okay.
Nice.
not really.
No, that's fine.
Thanks for trying it. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
I like it. I think it's a really good cigar. I think if this isn't like a beginner cigar, but maybe like if you're trying to take the next step up
Okay.
from like the Charter Oak, you smoked the Charter Oak a couple weeks, and
I
you're
did.
like, all right, let's move up one. This would be a good next step.
All right.
I'd agree with that. Just out of curiosity, because I know we do it sometimes and sometimes we don't. Did you do any kind of like background history into Gurkha? Because the only reason I'm asking is I just did a retirement ceremony for my first sergeant not last week, but the week before, or whatever it was. And one of the things that we hand out for some soldiers when they get out is a kukri. which is actually the sword that
The Gurkha.
Gurkha soldiers carry.
Correct.
So I'm just wondering if there's where the tie with Gurkha and that whole.
I think it was like an I don't know if I have it on this one. Give me a minute. There is a tie to it, yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was like I know that Gurkha's originally from like Nepal.
Yeah.
But I didn't know if the cigar had any ties to Nepal or if it's more of a.
I think it was just the ownership.
They just like the idea
Indian.
behind it. Indian.
I believe so, yeah, or
Okay.
something like that. Yeah, I could be totally wrong. I probably am.
Yeah, it's funny how much it ties into like my time in the Army, because even back when I was in the 101st, we have our scout platoon. They had the Gurkha platoon, because the U.S. Army itself doesn't have a Gurkha regiment like our counterparts, like the British Army has that. I think like Nepal has it. I don't know how many NATO forces have it, but we still have it tied into the Army as far as like what a platoon base goes. Like we call them the
that's cool.
Gurkhas, and they hand out their soldiers when they leave. They get like a little plaque that has a kukri on it with the dates that they were there and everything. So when I heard Gurkha, when I first started smoking cigars, I was like, I wonder where that comes from.
Yeah,
So
I'll find out for you.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, this cigar in my shop I think is $8.50,
Okay.
so not a bad price.
Not bad. And so, how many of these could you smoke?
I'm gonna smoke one and move on to something else.
Yeah, you're not going to smoke more than one.
No, I don't think so. It's not like awful. Like I could smoke 2 or 3, but
Yeah.
oh,
Okay. Well,
not
yeah,
bad.
Yeah, sure.
If I had to rate it though,
You do.
7.6.
Wow. That's high.
Nah, that's not high.
No?
I think that's average for me.
Okay. Yeah. You're pretty generous.
Yeah, I am.
Let's go down the line and go ahead and rate this.
So I'm a little stingy with my ratings usually, but
You usually are, yeah.
I like this a lot actually.
You
So
do?
I'm going 8.1.
Now, what kind of flavors do you get out of that other than you said the chocolate, right?
Right.
You get anything else, or is that basically where
I mean,
we're at?
like I said earlier, I get some caramel out of it.
Okay.
The wrapper has like a sweeter flavor to it almost.
Yeah.
So I'm getting the cocoa, the caramel in the smoke, and I'm also getting a sweeter thing going on my lips.
Okay. Nice.
I think it's a lighter smoke, but honestly, it's not as heavy as some of the other Gurkhas I've had.
No,
so
I agree.
I could easily if I was going to sit here and smoke for hours on end one day, I could easily smoke this, pick up another one, and start smoking it again.
Okay.
What do you think, Mike? If you had to give it a rating,
Yeah.
you don't
I don't know,
smoke.
because I'm a flavor guy. I think this is kind of like
This is good for us.
this
though.
considers me like you would be like a neighbor beer. You know, this is something you would bring to a party and hand to your friends, and it would be a good smoke at a wedding, or it got style to it, right? A lot of the guys
beautiful.
would like the wrapper to it.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know if it would be one that I would grab all the time, but I would enjoy it with somebody. It's to me, it's light, which I like.
So it's a bachelor party cigar.
It's a bachelor party cigar. Absolutely. This would be a great gift to
Bachelor
to
party,
give to
golf
somebody,
outing.
Yeah.
wedding, yeah.
Yeah. It's a great style, good smoke. I had to rate it just because I'm in the 7.5 as well.
Perfect.
But
Okay.
Let's see what the new cigar smoker says.
Out of all of this one cigar you've ever had,
Give it a rating.
what
All right,
kind of
so
rating?
Out of all these cigars, I'm gonna rate it like 8.
8. Wow, look at that.
I
He
like
liked
this
it.
guy. I like
I'm an
this guy.
optimist.
Yeah. Awesome.
Even though he picks on me a little bit, I like him.
Hey, we all do though.
It's nothing personal.
Just business.
Just business. Exactly.
welcome to Ukraine.
Oh man.
So you guys, David down there actually has the alcohol we're drinking, right? You have the Jeffersons Ocean. Yes, I do. What do you think of that so far?
Very good. I'm a Scotch whiskey fan.
You were a Scotch guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
About half a dozen bourbons at home.
Yeah.
What's your scotch? What's your go-to? What do you
Always
when you're going to the pub?
Isla whiskies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Style. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what about money is no object? Someone's, you're in with the. I was gonna say queen, but I can't. Yeah, it's not. You can't do that anymore. Maybe that's why we were banned on TikTok.
A bit late for the Queen.
Yeah. But you go in and the king's there or a prince or someone. He's like, I got you. What are you drinking?
Okay, money no object.
Money, no object.
Okay, Balmoral Distillery produced a very limited run recently. £50,000. I don't know what that is. $60,000 a bottle.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Wow.
I would give that a go, as long as somebody else was paying.
Yeah, so it was from Aston Martin. They did something with Aston Martin.
That's right. Yeah.
1965 single malt.
Yeah.
Yeah, $50,000.
$50,000 as well, was it? Yeah.
Or yeah, 50,000 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot for a bottle.
Yeah.
One went up for auction fairly recently, and it went for 80,000.
Wow. Sorry, I don't have that here.
Good investment. You haven't got it here? Oh,
No, I apologize. Next time.
Okay.
But and is that a Scotch or is that just a whiskey?
That's Scotch.
Scotch.
It is a Scotch. Okay.
Bowmore.
Single malt.
Okay.
Now, as far as going across the pond, do you see the secondary market for
Like bourbon?
for like bourbon or
Yes.
Scotch, like we do here? So if you could pay MSRP for something, but most of the time you're going to end up paying the secondary market for a bottle of something nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of that over?
In the UK, yeah. Bourbons over in the UK are more expensive.
Are they?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like what? Do people drink bourbons over there pretty regularly?
I don't know many people who do. I don't know many people who drink Scotch either, so.
Yeah, Well, we don't drink tea anymore over here because you guys suck. And taxed all our tea.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to just get that in there.
Yeah.
I'm real American, you know.
But that is
I
something
don't know
that-
anybody who did that either, so.
that is something that we typically do. So you could go and see that, they're selling it from the retail store for maybe $200, but you're not going to be able to buy it secondary for less than $2,000. Just because there's so limited quantity. Quality's great. Quantity that you have to pay up for it.
Can you guys get like Jack Daniels over there?
Yeah, Jack
really?
Daniels is available in pretty much every supermarket.
Oh,
yeah.
really?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. That's good to know.
Yeah. There are plenty of bourbons that are, but we're going to pay more than you pay. And
Sure.
almost all
'Cause it's imported.
whiskies that are not kind of the run of the mill, once it's single cask particularly.
Okay.
You might buy a single cask bottle for say maybe $100.
Yeah.
3 months later, they're up for auction and they're going to go for $400.
Oh, wow.
And it happens all the time.
So like a single barrel.
What about like a
People get limited in terms of the number they can buy.
what about like a Macallan 18?
Yeah,
That's
it's getting up.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
price
we-
is
they're
going up.
pricey.
We pay. I pay $370 for a bottle.
for, but that's MSRP, right?
Yeah, for
Oh
a
well,
bottle.
but you can get it from the store.
Correct. Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, you go up to 18 years, you're okay. Anything over
Anything
18 years
over,
for
yeah.
any of the distilleries, 21 and upwards is you starting to
You're-
pay money.
Same here.
Yeah, that's because it's the good stuff.
It is the good stuff.
So Dave is not going to toot his own horn, but yeah, he's got a little collection, a pretty good collection. He
really?
tends to dabble in the whiskey market.
Ooh.
Oh, very nice.
A little,
Nice.
just a little.
Okay. Well.
But I've got about, I don't know. If my wife's listening, there's only 6 bottles at home.
Of course.
It's about 110 bottles.
That's
I think, at the
impressive.
moment.
Of all different whiskeys, scotches,
Yeah, so
Irish
there's-
whiskey.
There's the stuff in the kitchen on the kind of the whiskey, which everybody sees.
Yeah.
And then there's
There's the special
there's a
cabinet with the lock.
in the study, which nobody gets to see.
Back in the library.
That's
Absolutely.
that's right. So I just buy stuff and hang on to it for a bit, see what happens.
Yeah, you just never know.
Sometimes you hit a winner and sometimes you don't. If you don't, you're a winner anyway because you just drink it.
Yeah, exactly. It's even better
So
sometimes.
it's a win-win.
Have you heard of Jeffersons before tonight?
No, I have not.
Yeah, so Jeffersons, it was founded in 1997. It's the brainchild of Trey and his father, Chet,
Yeah.
a famed bourbon historian. They were continuing a family whiskey tradition that goes back to Trey's 8th-generation grandmother, who was arrested in 1799 for the production and sales of liquor. They do a lot of cool stuff. This that we're drinking tonight is the Ocean Voyage. So they have like an oceanic company, a nonprofit dedicated to the study of tracking keystone marine species. So then they actually put these barrels on the bow, like inside the bow of the ship, and they run it around the world. So it's going up and down over the waves and everything, and it ages in the barrels while it's going in the ocean. So let's see.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Different. I've never heard of anyone
They're the only
else doing
company
that.
that's ever done that, yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it does to it.
The constant agitation and changing climate imparted a sweet, caramelized flavor reminiscent of dark rum.
So what I was gonna say before, when you said, oh, you have it in the old fashioned, but you know it always tastes the same. So what I was gonna say, but I wanted to wait for the podcast, is it's much sweeter than typical.
Really?
For me, yes. And I don't know. It could be. So here's the thing. It's tough because you have someone making it every time, and they can make it differently. They can add a little more of this, a little less of that,
Correct, yeah.
you know? So if there isn't enough bitters or there's too much, you know, vermouth or whatever. Wait, am I thinking Manhattan or am I
Vermouth's in
thinking,
Manhattan, yeah.
I'm thinking Manhattan.
Which is sugar, bitters.
But yeah, the sugar, I mean, absolutely.
Yeah,
you
it
know,
doesn't take much to get a little
even
extra.
the orange. I mean, a larger slice of orange could have more sugar in it that
Correct.
kind of pushes that. But that said, I do taste a little sweeter on this one.
Yeah. I find when I first drank this, not reading what was written on here, I thought there was a little salty, like sodium flavor to it. Sodium. Well,
What did you just get finished doing when you tasted that? Why is it silent? I
I don't know, but you gave him a list branch. They said sodium.
well, it cut out on me.
I guess I shouldn't. I guess I shouldn't.
We got
I fucking hate all of
I
you.
we
guess
got
I-
Mike Tyson on the mic over here.
Mike Tyson.
I guess
We're gonna
I
have some sodium with a whiskey.
I definitely can't fight the TikTok ban at this point.
You're right.
Oh, goodness.
It's absolutely valid.
No, it's funny you say that because I was going to ask when you said that it was ocean voyaged.
Yep.
Like you've got Jack Daniels, who's very much Lynchburg. They use water from Lynchburg. All your Kentucky bourbons use water from that area. It makes me wonder what they use as far as their water source goes,
Well, they have the regular water source where they distill,
which is where
in Kentucky.
it is in Kentucky.
Yeah. But then they have then they just put them in the barrels on the boat in the ocean, and you have all the saltiness going through the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
I would think some of it would get in there.
Oh, I would think so too.
Have you tried it neat yet?
I haven't tried it
Yeah,
yet.
give it
no.
a sip.
Yeah, I haven't.
Give it a
Well,
sip.
wait. Should we try it then?
Yeah, you guys can
Let's
all try it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
While the salty ocean air and sea spray gave the bourbon a
sir.
savory, briny character
Cheers.
of an Islay Scotch whiskey. Mike's not going to try it. Anton going to try
That's
it?
okay.
And does Anton drink? What do you
Give
think,
it a shot.
Anton?
He's trying it.
So there's different voyages too. They're on voyage number 24.
Oh, they go to different places.
Yeah.
I feel like the salt content isn't going to change though.
No, it's still out in the ocean.
Yeah. I mean, the ocean's the ocean.
So we can go, we can like, look, we can, I don't know if you
I
can see
can't
this.
look.
Well,
Oh.
if you bring over to my camera, you can
Yeah.
go and you have all the different voyages.
Okay. You want to hold it a little bit closer? Closer? Good.
You can like
you go.
scroll up and see all the different voyages.
Oh.
So like
So
I
you
can-
could buy like an older
correct.
bottle that was on a different voyage, or are there like 25 ships always
No,
going?
no, it's just different times. Yeah.
So different
So like
times,
I just
okay.
clicked on voyage 24, which is what this bourbon is,
Yeah.
and I can see where it stopped. Like its
Oh,
route.
it stopped. So
Like-
how long are they on the ship for?
I don't know.
Oh, well,
Good question.
that is a good question. I'm glad I asked it. Okay, so Anton, what do you think of the bourbon?
So
here?
again, I'm not an expert.
Is this your first time ever drinking bourbon?
No.
Okay.
Last time I was drinking whiskey was like 2 years ago with my friends. So I was like the cheapest whiskey we could afford.
There you go. But what about bourbon? So bourbon specifically, someone's going to correct me on this, but bourbon typically is from
Kentucky.
the Kentucky area.
Yep.
And what is that? There was something else. Oh no, it's over 50% corn, right?
Yeah.
In the mash. The mash has to be over 50% corn, which I'm sure they tell you the mash bill on the plastic bottle that you were drinking out of. But But typically, like it's so. Let me come back. Let me see. I'm trying to remember. Like I know this is funny because I knew nothing about this stuff a couple months ago, and I just learned it all from this podcast. So there's typically barley, wheat, corn,
Rye.
rye. Right? Is
Not
that it?
no, not in all of them.
No. But those are the main ingredients. Or are there different ingredients? Did I miss one?
No, those are the main ones. Sometimes you'd have one and you don't have the other.
Sometimes you
have-
might not have a rye
Correct.
or something, and you might
Correct.
have more of something else.
Correct.
But typically, those are the ingredients that they use to make the drink, and each one has a different amount of each. But for bourbon, it has to be over half of it has to be corn, and then it's whatever else they want to put into it. So anyway, what is your thought? Oh,
It's good.
yeah.
Do I have to rate it too?
No, not yet.
No, you can rate
we'll
it if
get
you
to
want,
it.
but yeah.
Well, yeah, if you want to rate
it's-
it, you can.
It's really good. I mean, it's warming me from the
Yeah.
inside, so that's great, especially for winter time.
Oh yeah.
So I'm taking this with me home.
So Anton has a little more experience where his grandmother makes moonshine.
So what's the proof on this, Josh?
Yes.
Okay. Well then, yeah, it's got a proof apparently.
Yeah. I think
it's
it's like,
over 80,
Yeah.
and maybe he's gonna check real quick. Someone's gonna check real quick. Okay.
Gil's gonna grab
Gil's
it.
gonna
He's closer
take
to
a
it.
look here.
What do you guys call
Lively.
moonshine over there, Anton? Because you don't call it moonshine.
In Ukraine or Poland, because there are two different names.
Oh, let's hear them both.
Yeah.
So in Ukraine it would be samogonka,
I'm not even gonna try to say
samogonka,
that.
Samagonka.
samogonka.
Samagonka?
In Polish, it's much easier. It's bimber.
Bimber.
Bimber. Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Bieber, like Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah, you don't use the accent, your English accent on R. It's R, like bimber.
Bimber.
Bimber. Much better. Much better. You still have a lot of work to do.
So to answer the question from earlier, this is a 90 proof, so 45%.
Yeah, 45. What do you guys make your moonshine out of? What are your ingredients? Like over
So-
here, it's just corn, sugar, malted barley. Usually down south, that's what White Lightning is.
My grandma, she didn't tell me the recipe yet.
Ooh,
Because
it's a secret.
she's like, I'm gonna tell it to you. I'm gonna give it to you later. So I'm not gonna take over the business. So,
But do you have corn over there?
yes, but my grandma, she's using most of the people probably they're using potatoes.
Potatoes, so like more of like a
Sugar.
vodka than.
Does it make your nose hairs curl when you drink it?
A little bit. Yeah, but it's like
She
no
does
matter.
Does
Yeah?
she do it like right on the stovetop?
Yes,
That's cool.
but she has to. Yeah, she has like really old equipment to do that.
Yeah,
but
that's
it's-
awesome. That makes it taste so much better.
That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So do you age moonshine or
No.
or Bieber?
No, you don't. It just
No.
comes out clear.
This comes out
Bimber.
Bimber.
Beanber.
Perfect.
Beanberg.
Not
Bimber.
you see, not the not Bimber. Bimber.
Beanber.
Yeah, I'm never gonna get it.
That's the accent. So the Polish language is so hard. So.
Beanber. I think I got it. Says me.
Says you. David, have you ever had pochine? Yeah. What'd you
What's
think of
pochine?
pochine?
It's good for stripping the throat.
Yeah, pretty much. They'll
Yeah.
put hair on your chest
It'll
right
put
away.
yeah, for anybody, male or female. I can vouch for his grandmother's.
Really? You've had
is-
it?
Yes.
Oh, when you went over there.
Yeah.
Was it that good?
It is extraordinary stuff. I
And you didn't bring any back?
No, of course not. It would be illegal to do that.
Oh, of course, yeah, because that would be illegal. We'll talk after the show.
So even though I don't drink, my wife really enjoyed it as well.
So she was over
She
there.
shared it with no one.
She was over there then.
So
'cause it
yeah,
didn't
she
come
must
back.
have been over there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So did it taste more like a vodka than it did like a whiskey?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
'cause it's made with
It's a
potatoes.
vodka,
Yeah.
but vodka doesn't kind of do much for me at all. But
Do they-
this stuff really did.
I
It's
wonder if they put
beautiful
other
flavour.
ingredients other than just potatoes, just potato sugar and
I don't know. I suspect it's just the skill of the job she does. And she's done it for a very long time, and I suspect it goes back generations.
True.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So is that just kind of like a friends and family type thing, or does she sell it, or?
It's kind of friends and family.
Okay.
It's
She doesn't bottle it and put it in the grocery store, or?
no. It's it's a privilege to try it.
Yeah.
So yeah. And David, thanks for all the good words. He knows my grandma is watching, so.
Oh, nice.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, she can watch it on YouTube and Twitch and Facebook, and she can listen to it on Spotify and Apple Music.
Lost my lighter.
I was plugging the show on the show, which I like to do.
Oh, hold on. There's two guys trying to throw me their lighters.
Okay.
I always lose my lighter every week. Because I get up and down. I'm always moving around.
And you got to talk, so it's hard to like keep the thing lit while you're talking. So,
That's my problem.
all right. So, do we want to talk about this thing?
Yeah.
It's a bourbon for
It
sure.
is a bourbon. You guys get any flavors out of it?
Not so much out of the nose that it doesn't really smell any different than other bourbons to me, but I don't know. Gil is the expert here.
I don't know. After the last person we had on this, I kind of took a step back from expert on bourbons here. No, but the nose, I don't get a whole lot of difference in the nose either. I definitely will say that I take a lot of that salt you were talking about, salt and spice,
Yeah.
which is more indicative of a rum.
Yep. Do you get some of that saltiness right when you first
Yep.
I do.
Yes.
I do get a little
thought so, too.
saltiness, and
I didn't want to say that because it's an ocean. I'm going to taste salt. No, but you actually
you
taste
do.
salt. I get it.
yeah,
It stays in my cheek and it stays in the run the finish as it goes into my chest. I can still feel that salty.
absolutely
I don't know how else to explain it other than that.
saltiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and to be perfectly honest, it has that. I can't think of the word. Just kidding. Saltiness, yeah.
So on the nose, they say oaky, caramel, leathery dried fruit, bananas foster, vanilla, baking spice, and a touch of biscuity. Biscuity.
I don't
I don't know.
Interesting.
I get leather in a lot of bourbons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I get it more pronounced than this. Normally, one of my catchphrases is caramel because it's a bourbon, so it's going to have
always
caramel in
oh,
it.
yeah.
This doesn't have that as much as normal.
So palate, they say oaky, caramel, baking spice, bananas foster, vanilla, baking spice again, biscuity.
It's spicy. It definitely is
roasted
spicy.
nuts. Finish is medium, banana, oak, caramel, and nutty.
There's a lot of banana references yet. I'm not feeling a lot of banana in it, to be perfectly honest.
What is
but
bananas foster?
It's
a dessert, right?
It's a dessert, and it's kind of charcoaled bananas. Not charcoal, but charred bananas, I think.
Oh, like they do
in
the
like a cream type dish thing. But typically I think that's what they're going for is kind of that burnt banana, which I'm not really. I love bananas, and I'm not getting that off of this. But the spice for sure. It almost makes me think. I was actually surprised when you said it was 90 proof. I thought it was higher because
I think that's
because
the
of
salt.
spice or the salt. Yeah.
I do get a lot.
this-
I do get the baking spices,
The salt stays in
like a
my
nutmeg,
stays in my
cinnamon.
cheek,
Interesting.
almost like a Scotch does.
Yep. We're terrible at this.
We are so bad. And that's the thing. We are like the everyman's kind of drinker, smoker, all around. We are not experts. We are not going to tell you anything.
If you're a new bourbon drinker, I would not start with this.
No, I think this is too strong.
Yeah.
It really, and
Too much going on.
again, surprisingly for being 90 proof, I would have thought.
What's your problem, Gil?
I don't think it's that harsh. Usually when I think of something I would tell somebody not to start with, it would be something that would really burn the back of the throat.
Not that
Doesn't
it's harsh.
burn,
I'm
it's-
just saying there's too much going
It's
on.
complex.
But it's smooth though.
It is. It is smooth.
So when you get somebody who's first drinking bourbon, I'd rather start them with something smooth that they can, sip on and not be like, oh my God, my chest is on fire.
Well, I'd have them start with Basil Hayden or Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace is a
Buffalo
good
Trace,
one
yeah.
for a
Easy to drink.
beginner.
Yeah.
But if you didn't want to be cliche, you could start with something like this.
No, I guess
You
so.
could.
What do you think, Mike?
I was just going to comment. Isn't it bad mojo to have bananas on boats?
It is.
Oh.
I don't know if I would have that in my ingredients. I'm just saying.
Well, it's not
in the
ingredients. It's just the flavor that you get from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like wine where they say, oh, it's, you have cherry. It's not like they actually put cherries in the wine, but you can taste it sort of if you imagine it in your head.
I think the story's cool. It's not cheap, though. I think it's like $80 a bottle, $79.99.
Wow. That's pricey.
Yeah. So I think for that,
What do you sell it for?
oh, I don't know.
Oh. We'll have to look at the menu.
Yeah.
That's a low price.
That's a low price. No,
We
not
don't
this
know.
one. Not this one. Probably.
It's a high price.
I don't know if I had to guess. $14,
Okay.
$13.50, $14.
All right. So do we want to go through and rate this thing?
Yeah, I'm going 7.2.
Ooh, 7.2.
I think for the value, you're not really getting a lot out of the ocean cask thing.
So I think it's smooth. I like the complexity, actually. The saltiness is a little... I don't like it. It's not
Different.
It's
Totally
different.
different.
It's very different. So I'm gonna get this. You're gonna think I'm using this as a specific rating for a reason, but I'm really not. But I'm gonna rate this a 6.9. It's what it is. It's
Is what it is.
That's what it is.
Sometimes you just like 6 and 9.
Nobody would have thought that you were referencing the 6.9 for
Unless
what
you
were,
fucking said it.
Unless you were just like, oh yeah, you're gonna think this. No, but I actually kind of like the way the burn stays with you a little longer than
The finish.
in the finish, like it's in the chest. Anton referenced it. He said it makes him feel warm,
Yeah.
so that warmness stays with you a little longer than some of the other stuff that I've drank. I'm gonna go with a 7.7.
Ooh. That's high.
Mike didn't drink it, so we can skip right over to Anton.
Yeah, as we were talking about the warm, it feels really nice. And I think 8 again.
8.
So
Nice.
All right.
an optimist again. But as I said, I'm not an expert, so.
But if you
No.
could find this over in Poland, you would buy it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. That says a lot.
Well, I also think that there's something to be said about being warm over there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Anything that makes you warm, you're like, yeah, I want that. Come on.
Especially now, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that being said, it was colder here in New Hampshire the other day. I think it was 2 or 3 days ago. New Hampshire had the coldest spot in the United States, like in the history of coldness.
up on Mount Washington?
Up on Mount Washington. It was like negative 105 or 150 or something insane like that.
What's
So-
your average temperature back home during the wintertime?
Well, they probably use
Winter time.
Celsius.
Yeah, we use Celsius. So right now it's like minus 5, minus 10. But like 15 years ago, average was like minus 20, minus 15
And that's Celsius or that's
That's
Celsius.
Celsius, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, I can't do that.
No.
Fahrenheit. You can Google it if you want to. But,
Well, zero is
It was
zero
cold.
is
It was
right?
32. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. What you said? What, negative 10,
Negative
negative
5.
20?
right now, yeah, negative 10, negative 15 is like
Hey,
a lot
Siri.
these days.
What's negative 10 Celsius?
It's going to be like 12, 14.
Oh, it just showed me. 14.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thanks.
That's nice.
What do you think of this, David? What would you rate it?
This is going to sound odd, I guess, but I thought it was really quite good, and I would have said like 6.5.
Yep. Do you get any of that saltiness at all out of it, or?
Not a great deal. It's an interesting debate. We have it with Scotch whiskies, particularly the island whiskies like Islay whiskies.
Yep.
Because a lot of them are actually in cask right next to the sea, literally next to the sea, and some of them are below sea level.
Really?
For year, yeah. For
Well, like in
for the
caves?
duration. In the dunnage in the warehouses.
Yep.
And some of them are right. So, for example, Beaumont, Lafroy, Lagavulin, they're all right on the water's edge. The distiller is on the water's edge. And some of the dunnage is right there too.
So
And
do some people
Beaumont-
say they get a little saltiness out of
yeah,
the
there's a big
those
debate
Scotch?
about whether or not you can. Some people say you get sea air, you can taste it, you can smell it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm one of them. I'm pretty convinced that there is a very significant difference.
I'll have to give it a shot then.
Yeah.
I don't drink a lot of scotches from there. I'm not a huge peaty, smoky person, and those I find to be usually fairly peaty and smoky.
That's where all the big peat comes from.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I thought it was really, really drinkable. Very nice. Spice doesn't last long. So, you're not sitting there 5 minutes later thinking, oh,
Yeah.
but it's a nice spice.
You notice it.
And I would have said, anybody that I wanted to introduce to a bourbon, I'd give them that.
Really?
Without a doubt. Yeah, without a doubt. Because it's very gentle compared to a lot of the Highland whiskies.
Yeah. I just think there's other ones that are... Have you ever had Basil Hayden?
Yeah, and you said Buffalo Trace earlier.
Yep.
That would go with that as well. But
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting. And, if you want to get somebody into it, I would have said, I'd give them that. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
All right.
You're right. There's a lot of complexity, but it's good.
Is there anything on my shelf you haven't had?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'll have a look afterwards.
Well, yeah, we'll have to show them the
I'm
top
really
shelf
excited,
because
I'll give you a taste of whatever you want.
Oh, wow. Fantastic. Yeah.
I have a suggestion.
No. If he picks it, he can
If he
have
picks it, he can have it.
No, I'm not that good.
What is that, the $4,000 bottle?
Yeah.
It rhymes with happy.
It makes you happy.
It does make you happy.
It does.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think that was a good... You want to do a mystery alcohol now and just get it out of the way? And
Yeah,
then
let's
kinda
just
go
do it.
into, all right. Let's call Michaela.
All right.
So this part of the show, we usually call our bartender, and we get her to bring us over a mystery alcohol. Can be whatever she wants, and we kind of try to guess it.
We
If
try
they
to guess
tell
it.
you not to smell it, smell it.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
There was an episode where Gil had the luxury of drinking apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Hi, Michaela. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hi. We would like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different mystery alcohols, please.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Now you can't look at the bar, so you have to
Yes.
look away.
So don't see what she's pouring.
Don't-
But yeah. So
yeah.
Warren and I both had a Japanese whiskey.
We did.
And, both Warren and I had Japanese whiskey, and then we poured him apple cider vinegar. And I was like, yeah, today we're not going to smell it all. We're just going to take
gonna
it as a
drink it.
shot. And he took it as a shot and got fairly angry.
I just want to remind you guys we're guests, so
Yes.
We've never done that to the guests before.
No, not yet.
No, we wouldn't do that. I mean, unless it's a special guest
Yeah.
that deserves it.
That's great because in the beginning you told that we are special. You
Yeah,
said
you're very special.
You caught that, did you?
Oh, goodness.
No, but I just looked it up. So to translate for you, in New Hampshire, we have a mountain called Mount Washington, and it was maybe a week ago, maybe less.
Saturday.
It was negative 78 degrees Celsius. Very cold.
78 Celsius? Are you sure?
Negative Celsius.
Oh, I checked it because I heard about it.
That's what Google just told
Wow,
me.
79. 79 minus 79?
Minus 77.7,
Yeah, so that's crazy.
which is
pretty cold.
very cold.
This whiskey would be useful over there.
Exactly. It would be
useful.
perfect for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, the wind chills were crazy here on Saturday. Just in Keene itself, it was
It was negative 50, right?
the temperature was negative 18. I left work at 2 o'clock in the morning. Driving home, my truck said it was negative 18 out.
Which is negative 27 Celsius.
Yeah. It was chilly.
Minus 27.
We would
It's like
open
negative 10.
the door to my bar, and it was just like the heat coming out would immediately turn just to smoke. It was or fog.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny.
It froze the lock on the front door.
Oh, it froze the lock on the front door?
Yep.
Wow.
Well, with the wind, it got down to negative 45 degrees Celsius.
Wow, that's cold.
Yes. So it was very cold.
Colder than a witch's tit.
Now you're going to get us banned from all
can't
the
say
rest of
witch's
these.
teeth?
I don't think so.
Colder than a well digger's ass? Does that work?
Yep.
Okay, now you're just trying to get us banned.
So
Colder than a brass toilet seat in Alaska?
That I think is okay.
could you imagine trying to peel your ass off that?
That's what I said. Me and Dan were talking about it the other day because how cold it was. And I was like, I can't. Can you imagine getting stuck to that and being like, hey.
It'd be like the whole, put your tongue on a pole.
Yeah.
Just instead ripping your skin off your ass. No thanks.
No thanks.
So this is off topic. Just keep conversation flowing while we're waiting for this mystery alcohol.
Absolutely. Is she like making something? I don't know. Don't look up there. Anyway,
I'm just deep conversation up there.
She's gone to the kitchen for that vinegar.
I know, right? What's like your common food that you eat over there? Like I eat steak or like a cheeseburger on the regular basis. What's like your most common meal?
Pizza for us.
All right, so I can answer for both Poland and Ukraine. Which one do you want?
Either.
Either.
yeah.
All right, so I'm
Assuming a fish.
So I live in Poland. So like every day, it's most famous food is mashed potatoes.
Oh.
Every meal has mashed potatoes. Yeah.
I like mashed
Some
potatoes.
kind of salad, and then you guys have a lot of beef. We have pork.
Oh.
So beef is like special occasions. And
Okay.
pork is like every day. Sundays, most of the family Sunday they have like tradition. They do noodle soup. I don't know how to call it. It's like noodles and chicken and
Like a
and,
chicken noodle soup?
vegetables.
Now, Poland is the home of borscht, isn't it?
No, it's Ukraine.
Ukraine is borscht?
is Ukraine. Yeah.
Okay.
Poland has a lot of borscht too, but Ukraine is like it's more famous in Ukraine.
Now, what's your favorite food? Do you like?
In Poland,
Yeah.
I don't know. As I said so many times before, I'm not a fussy person. I would eat anything. Food is food for me, so I'm the worst person to ask this question. But the most favorite is, I don't know, some fast food, probably. You know.
What do you think of McDonald's?
What do you guys have for fast food over there?
Over there in
Yeah.
Poland, McDonald's, KFC.
Okay. Taco Bell?
We have a lot of kebabs. No, we don't have Taco Bell.
No,
As
okay.
far as I'm concerned, we have a lot of kebabs. You guys don't have any.
No,
Right?
No.
kebabs.
We have like
None.
4 kebab shops, kebab places.
You want to open one over here?
next to each other. Oh, I don't think so. It's
Oh, come on, man.
Meat on a stick, right?
What do you
Kebab.
like? Do you like cheeseburgers?
oh yeah, I love it.
Okay, so before you leave here, you have to get Mike to take you to Five Guys if you haven't already gone.
Oh,
Five Guys is good. Greasy though.
So this whole trip that we've been on, he's insulted our American cheeseburgers, and he only had the best one today that he's had so far at Fritz.
Oh, Fritz is good.
hey,
Local.
I have a excuse for that. They're really small here.
Okay.
So, like,
go to Five Guys.
So I can attest to that. But there was only one place that I could get when I was over in Poland that I could get a burger, like, because I was craving beef while I was over there. I was like, where can I go get a good steak? Where can I get a cheeseburger? And he sent me to this place called Fragoli's, right?
Fragoli's.
Fragoli's. And they serve American food. This is in Helm. And the burger was enormous. It was like, think of like a I guess a place that you could probably find it is Fuddruckers.
Yeah.
You know, they have the big
Giant,
burgers,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I was impressed at the size of the burger. I'm like, this is not an American burger. First off, because usually it comes with like French fries and everything else that goes along with when you order a burger, like either chips or French fries. But they put just about everything on the burger as well. So it's not just the regular burger. It's like everything on top of it as well. So half of the salad is on there.
Gotcha.
That's why it's good. Which one do you like more?
I'm an American burger guy. I'm not a huge additive or a huge, as they would say, sauce person. I don't like the condiments. You know, I'm not a big ketchup. Pretty much mustard, pickles, cheese is good with me for a burger.
What's your food, David? What? Like, I'm gonna guess. Spotted dick. That's gotta be.
Anybody
it's gotta
know
be-
what a spotted dick is?
That's gotta be like top on the thing, right?
No.
I think
see that all the
I've
time.
seen one before.
Josh knows what that is. That's the funniest part.
It's like a bread, isn't it, or something
It's
like
a
that?
pudding.
A pudding.
It's a
pudding,
pudding
yeah.
made with bread, yeah.
Yes.
And dried fruit.
I wasn't
it's
being a
not.
dick. I knew what I was talking about.
It was a spotted dick.
Yeah, you're being a spotted dick.
Bangers and mash.
Favorite food? Nah, seafood.
I like
Seafood.
bangers and mash.
Bangers and mash, not bad.
You guys do like fish and chips over there, or other seafood?
Yeah, other seafood is
Yeah,
You're asking what's my favorite?
fish and chips is like a fry or not. It's battered, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, which is.
Were you the idiot? Were you the idiot I went with that we tried to order fish and chips and you didn't know what chips were? You're like, I thought it was going to come with chips.
I wanted chips.
Yeah, and it came with French fries.
It came with French fries. I'm not the idiot. I know what chips are when it comes to that kind of food. I wanted actual
No, fish
chips.
and chips is actually fries.
No, I know that, but I wanted fucking chips.
potato chips?
You weren't being an idiot.
So how do you
different
order
entrance.
chips?
So
Like
you
if
gotta-
you want
they're
chips.
crisps. They're crisps.
Oh, over there it's crisps.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I learned that this week.
Did you?
interesting.
Now, when you guys do fish and chips, is it haddock? Is that what you usually do?
Traditionally, it's cod.
Cod?
But cod is getting more and more expensive.
Did they originally do it with bluefish? Like the little sharks? No?
No.
I thought I heard that at one point.
I feel cod is a pretty bland fish.
But then, fish and chips has always
Yeah,
been
yeah,
a
it's
kind
a
of,
blandish
it's just a
kind of
working
thing, yeah.
class. It's not anymore. You go to London and order fish and chips, you need a second mortgage.
Well, don't try to order eggs over here because that
Egg
that
shortage.
shit got expensive.
That's only going to last so much longer, though.
I hope so. Yeah, a bunch of chickens died, I guess, and so eggs went from you could get a dozen eggs for 99 cents, and now if you can get out for like $6, you're lucky. So yeah,
That was like when I lived in Hawaii. It was $8 for a carton of eggs, $7 for a gallon of milk. Your beef
Yeah.
was double the price, and
but everything's
per pound.
imported, so
Right.
that makes sense. Like here, we have chickens. Like everybody I know has chickens.
Have you guys tried this yet or smelled it? The mystery alcohol?
So I smelled it and I didn't know what to think. I was like, oh, okay. I think I know what this is. And then I tasted it and I'm like, I have no idea what this is.
I'm getting a lot of honey.
A lot of honey. Oh, is this Jack Honey? This is Jack Honey. That's my guess, Jack Honey.
It's thicker. I don't get a lot of honey out of it.
Spicy.
Thicker?
I get honey in the palate, but it's not Jack Honey as far as the drink goes.
No,
It's-
Jack Honey
you're
is
right.
like super syrupy and
It
very
is-
honey.
It is a lot of syrup. Yeah, I'm not getting a lot of honey out of this now that you say that.
That has a weird
Take
flavor
it
though.
back. It does have a weird flavor. It's super smooth. Super smooth.
I don't have any other well whiskeys, so it can't be that again.
Like it doesn't even taste. It's not strong at all. What could it be?
There's just a lot of spice in that.
There's a lot of spice, yeah.
Like a lot.
Yeah. Doesn't last very long, though.
No, it doesn't last long at
It
all.
gets on your lips and then on your... It's good.
And then it's gone.
Yeah.
Like I said,
She's
very,
not letting
very
on.
smooth. No.
What goes next to the Basil Hayden?
Oh, did she not put it back? No, she's pouring something for somebody else.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what this is.
It's bourbon.
You think?
I'm definitely in the whiskey section for this, for sure. But which kind of whiskey? I don't have a clue. I don't know. I'm going to say it's a Woodford, but no, it's not strong enough to be a Woodford.
Woodford's not strong like
You don't
this.
think it would be we did Penelope or Penelope.
Penelopes.
Oh, Penelope.
Could be a
toasted.
Penelope.
Penelope toasted.
I don't remember it being
Possibly.
like this, though. I mean, it could have.
That's a good one, Josh. I like that. Or rye. Rye would be super spicy like this.
So the way that we do this is
Jack rye.
because the three of us kind of know pretty much what he's got on there, we try to guess the exact bottle that she poured. But for the guests, we just want to get an idea. What do you think it is? You think it's a whiskey? You think it's a bourbon? You think it's...
Bourbon.
I would think it's a bourbon, yeah.
Yeah.
Anton.
I'm glad he answered first. I'm gonna go with bourbon too.
That's a good answer. It's very
not
thoughtful.
vodka.
Yeah.
I think you really
I'm
thought
going,
that out.
I'm going Jack Daniel's rye.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know. I like this because I feel like it's very smooth. And I do get the hints of honey.
All right. You said Penelope toasted.
I'm going to go with a Woodford, even though I don't think it is. But that's where I'm going to go.
Woodford. All right, let's
Yeah.
call her. Have her bring the bottle over.
Yes, yes.
Hi, Michaela. Can you bring the bottle over to us?
Yes.
Thank you.
If this is Diplomatico, I'm going to be so mad.
That's a rum, man.
I know.
That's a rum.
I know. I know.
Diplomatico.
Oh, wait. Why is there
Two
two
different
bottles?
Why do we have
Did
two
you
bottles?
mix them? Oh. Oh, wow. Okay, so who got what? Are you fucking kidding me?
So there are two different.
Try mine.
Oh my god.
Obviously, I think we have the same thing. Which probably is the.
If you went with a Jack Rye, you probably got the Gentleman Jack.
I don't think so. I don't think so at all.
I feel like these are the same.
Really?
Yeah, these are the same.
Are they both bourbon?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so we won anyway, right?
So you won.
You guys are the best.
You guys
know
got
what the fuck
it.
you're talking about. We have no idea what we're talking about.
What did you think? Same thing, right?
You can leave it over there. We don't
No,
know.
that one's different than what I had.
Was it?
Was yours smoother?
Mine was. I think mine's smoother. Here, try it. I got some left.
That one you have stays in the nose, which makes me think Jack.
Oh, maybe.
I feel like Mike is missing
I
the
feel like
best
mine's
part of
smooth.
this podcast. Right?
I'm the monkey in the middle.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
That's definitely way different than what I
way
had.
different. Yeah.
One of us has got to drive home tonight.
Have Josh try that.
Here. Where's your glass here? I'll hook you up.
How do I get rid of the? Trying to. Something keeps beeping in the background of my phone.
So, yeah, something keeps beeping.
I think it was
hear
my.
that
I
too.
think I had Pandora open. Becca's gonna see me laugh at this.
What?
Just read it and don't say anything.
Well, can you show the camera? or
no,
no?
I can't. Not show the camera.
Okay, my bad, my bad.
Just read the last message. Oh my fucking god.
So I'm going to say I probably got the George Dickel because this doesn't have any of that honey smell to it, sweetness.
Sorry.
Oh, good times.
This is the Gentleman Jack. That's the Dickel.
Yeah. The Dickel's
The
going to be
spotted
spicier,
Dickel, right?
It is. I wouldn't choose it.
No, it's the George. It's the bonded. So this is going to be 100 proof.
Right.
I don't know what the Gentleman Jack is. What's it?
I
what's
had the
in
Gentleman Jack for sure.
Yeah.
I definitely did.
What's Gentleman Jack?
I had the Dickel.
You had the Dickel?
The spotted Dickel.
Yeah.
I can't read that.
There's not much spotting
Oh,
in there.
what is that? What does that say?
It's mostly Dick.
No spot, just Dick.
My
Can you read
apologies.
that?
My
So
apologies to the
Gentleman
distiller.
Jack is 80 proof, so 40%.
So the other Dickel's 20 proof more.
Oh,
That's why it's so much
that's why it's
stronger.
more
All
spicy.
right. Well,
yeah.
we sucked at that.
Well, did we? I don't know.
No, I don't think so.
Because who did and who didn't?
Yeah. No idea.
Speaking of sucking at things,
What? Let me see that.
You're never getting back on.
anyway, I think we have a podcast here that we were doing.
Well, that's pretty much all we had. That's like our normal podcast. But
Yeah,
tonight we're going to go
typically,
a
but
little
let's
bit
go
longer
ahead and-
because we do have these guests here who are one of them is very special to me. My buddy Mike, very good friend of mine, decided to take personal time out of his life and his job and go overseas to Poland, and he helped transport families to different parts of Poland when they were coming over from Ukraine during the war. And during that time, he met Anton, who was his right-hand man, his Robin to Mike's Batman.
Oh, I like
Right?
that. I like
Yep.
the reference.
Batman and Robin over there. And unfortunately, I do not know the exact story and how he met David. I think we can get into that, but I'm just going to hand the mic over to Mike. Mike
there's-
over to Mike. Wow. That fucked with my brain. I'm going to hand it over to Mike and let him talk about everything. So here you go, Mike. It's all you now.
Thanks, Josh.
Tell us
Thanks
a
for
little
having
bit
us
about
on
everything.
tonight. Yeah, it was, I made a personal decision I just knew something needed to be done. I didn't know how to help. I called a bunch of places, but it was still pretty new in the situation with the war in Ukraine when Russia invaded. Wasn't sure how I could help, but I know I needed to help, and decided to take personal time and travel over to Poland and see what I could do to help. I ended up in Dorohusk, and I met Anton, who was working as a volunteer and then was later employed by the Polish government to be a translator. He speaks 4 different languages, Russian, Ukrainian, English, and Polish. So I was so happy to meet an English-speaking person that could help me through, because when the first day I was there, my rental car got a flat, and I paid for the AAA, but guess what? Poland doesn't have AAA, so don't pay for it.
That's nice.
So that was my first day. So I was trying to use Google Translate. Actually, it was an app. It wasn't actually Google's Translate. It was one of the apps you download. And then I found Google Translate, which was way better than this app. Oh my God.
That's the best thing.
Best thing on earth, especially if you're traveling.
And I do it in conference calls. I'll be on a conference call and they'll be speaking Spanish, because I do a lot of stuff with South America. And so I'll just turn on Google Translate and put it up to the computer, and it just translates it all for me. It's amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, it changed the whole trip. But when I was trying to use this app, there was this lady riding a bike down the street, and I knew that this border checkpoint, I just drove straight to the border, and I knew this border checkpoint was there. But I got this flat tire turning this corner, trying to miss this. Well, you don't really call them semis there, but they're like a larger truck, anyways. Truck. It was. Well, I got a story for that as well. But I missed the truck and then went off the side of the road, popped the tire. Obviously, I know how to change a tire, so I go in the back, get the tire iron out, pump it up, but the tire would not come off. And it's different over there. They have we have the lug nuts with the stems that stay on. The other way over there is they have the lug nuts with the stem on it, right? So I pulled them all out, and it was the brakes had like congealed the centerpiece to this. So I'm wailing on it, but again, it's a car jack, so it's not a very easy. You don't want to hit it too hard, right? Yeah. So I
you try using like your body weight on it?
Yeah, like kicking it, but I don't want to kick it too hard, because then I don't want it to fall off the jack and then the tire fall off. Yeah. So, so there's these 2 ladies across the street. Anyways, long story short, we ended up flagging down these officers, Policia. And one of the girls spoke a little bit of English. The lady that was there, she spoke a little bit of English. And the same like shop that was right around the corner that I tried calling, I called and said, "Do you speak any English?" She goes, "No." And he hangs up. He said, "You know how to say no," but he hangs up on me. Later on, I did meet the guy and used Google Translate, and we became really good friends, because it wasn't the only flat tire I got during that trip. It was just Jing's car. But anyways, I make it around the corner.
Nothing to do with your driving. 100% the car.
Nothing to do. It has to do with the roads over there and the terrible tires that the rental company gave me, which is a whole nother story. That got towed away because Policia again said you cannot drive this. So, and they brought me a better car. Anyways,
that's good.
But that's later in the trip. So I met.
But the driving hasn't improved.
No, well, they just drove with me down to Florida. So
that's why we can say that.
So I met Anton. While I was there, I met David, and with the same trip to Poland, this first trip to Poland. And me and David took a family of 8 to Poznan, which is about an 8-hour drive. So we changed it on and off, and we were able to unite half of this family that had already left. We arrived there 2 weeks after the war, and war started. David was kind of already in and out. I had seen him and met him, but then his bus had broke down, and we brought it to the same guy who changed our tires. He hooked him up with new brakes, and on that trip he didn't have anything to do, and he just didn't want to sit around in Poland and not do anything. So he went with me and my buddy Calvin, and we all took turns and drove our 2 rental cars to Poznan to bring this family, reunite this family that had already gone there a week after the war started. So that's how I met Anton and David.
And David, did you have to take time off from work, or you were retired, or I don't know much about you. I can't tell how old you are. You guys have good genes.
I'm 25.
Smoked way too many cigarettes, but
Yeah.
Too much
I just had a
bourbon.
hard life.
Too much scotch.
I'm retired. I
good for you.
retired 3 years ago, and so when the war started, like Mike, like so many millions of other people, we were watching this kind of stuff unfold on the television, and my wife said, "What can we do?" And I said, "Give money." And she said, my wife is a school principal, and she said, "We've got a minibus." I said, "Oh, great. So you donate the minibus, I get to do the driving." And that was pretty much it. So I used the school minibus. We filled it with aid given to us by a woman who lived locally who was collecting aid, and she has done a remarkable job. Hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of aid she's collected. So we filled the minibus, went out to Poland. I dropped it off at a school that had taken several Ukrainian children, and then I headed off to the border. And my story kind of picks up where Mike's does. I just offered to drive people to where they needed to go, and then later on, I worked with a group of Canadian doctors who were in Ukraine, and I drove them around in and out of Ukraine, and then from there started delivering aid directly in Ukraine.
How much time have you spent in Poland and Ukraine, or how much time have you spent away from home?
I've not added it up. My wife said last time I was back home, before we came out here, she said she'd added it up and it was nearly 6 months of the last year.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's impressive.
I've not added it up. I've no idea.
Yeah.
Slightly off topic, you kind of disappointed when you full on said television.
I thought you were gonna say
gonna
telly.
say telly.
Yeah, I was waiting for that too.
On the telly.
On the telly.
Yeah, there we go.
It's on the telly.
So me and David sing. I always call him Governor. Hello, Governor. Hello, Governor.
Did you see my British phone booth door?
I did.
Did you like it?
I did.
thank you.
Anton came to the UK with me before we came to the States, and one of his requests was get me to a telephone box.
Nice.
Well, there you go.
It was actually much funnier than that because he was like thinking about the places where he can take me, and it was like the Tower of London, the Big Ben, the old, all the cool stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, open top red bus and telephone box would be nice.
Have you been outside of Ukraine or Poland before now, to different countries? Or is this the first time you've traveled?
I've been to Ukraine and Germany. So,
But that's it. You've never been to the UK or the United States.
no, I've never been to. No.
He's
just
never been on an airplane before.
This was your first
his
airplane
first trip.
ride?
Yes. Yeah. It was
pretty
amazing.
boring.
Pretty boring.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Russia?
No, I was particularly close to Russia. I was at Crimea 3 times. When it was Ukrainian, it is still Ukrainian. In my, for me, it's still Ukrainian. It's always gonna be Ukrainian territory.
Sure.
I was there 3 times with my family, holidays. So I've seen Russia from coast.
When did you move out of the Ukraine?
When I was 3 years old. So I was born in Ukraine. I've never met my biological father, who was Ukrainian. And we were living with my mom and my grandparents till I got 3. Then my mom met my dad. He's my stepfather, but I don't like to call him that. He's dad
your
for
dad.
me.
Yep.
Yes. So then we moved to Poland to live in Poland, and I was going to school in Poland. Most of my life I spent in Poland, but I had
So
holidays.
do you speak both languages?
Yes, fluently, and Russian.
And Russian?
Yes, because it's.
Well, I mean, Russian's right there, so
Yeah.
yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of people speaking Russian
almost every Ukrainian person speaks Russian.
Yeah.
That's there are totally different languages. So it's a lot of people think that they're like similar, but they're not. They're
not,
totally
yeah.
different. So Polish is more similar to Ukrainian than Russian to Ukrainian. So they're totally different languages. The thing is, because of the Soviet Union, almost every Ukrainian person speaks Russian, but it doesn't work like both ways. Like Russians, they don't speak Ukrainian at all, like most of them.
So, Mike, you went over twice. The first time you went over, you just transported people from the Ukrainian border to different parts of Poland, and you met David that time, and Anton.
Correct. Yep.
You went over a second time. Did you meet up with these two gentlemen again?
So it's when you're traveling to a foreign country, you want to be familiar with and surround yourself with familiar people. So when my buddy Calvin, who's a sheriff in Mississippi, kind of a backstory on how it became more of a reality. So master farms instructor through SIG. I met other instructors. Another instructor asked if there were other people that wanted to train civilians on firearms handling, because they don't, they've never touched firearms. It's not like in America where you can own 50 of them and it's not weird, or for some people. It's not.
Let's not get into that.
Yeah. So, anyways, so that was initially the plan, to go help train civilians on how to use firearms.
First tour or second tour?
The first one.
Yeah.
But the wife had other plans. She said, "No, you're not going into Ukraine," especially just 2 weeks out after it's starting. I decided I would stay in Poland, on the Poland side, and help where I could and provide support for the instructors that were going into Ukraine.
Yep.
If they needed anything, they would call. We meet them at the border. It was an agreement with the wife. And I couldn't be happier, because I helped so many families. Having a car over there is not as common as the U.S. All the kids have cars, all the parents have cars. They all have 10 cars in the driveway.
A family might have one car.
Exactly, that they share. Not all the case, but for the majority, most transportation is done through buses and through trains, right? So when these people would come over, if it was a large family or disabled person, or they would ask us, because we had a vehicle to use. At first, I hadn't planned on being a driver. I didn't know what I was really how I was gonna help. I was thinking mopping floors, serving food, whatever I could do to help. But it ended up being the best help we could do was actually transport people. There were so many people. 4.2 million people came over the Polish border.
Wow.
4.7 million people came over the Polish border. So to get them not only through Poland,
without vehicles.
Without vehicles, on trains, buses, walking over the border.
They get dropped off, and
process. So welcoming. Come in, we'll help you. So we were able to get them to different trains farther away that would have normally taken 13 hours. And when you have 3 little kids and trying to occupy them for 13 hours just to get to the next train, to go to Germany or to go to Italy or to go to Spain or wherever else that they would be going. It just made it a relaxing trip. We were talking tonight about the people that we met, and some of the security that they felt enough to be able to fall asleep in the back seat, like the relief, getting over the border and being able to just relax and sleep. And this is a foreigner that doesn't speak their language that is driving them to, they don't know where, they don't know what I'm saying or talking on the phone. A lot of trust. So it was an honor. So I felt like I did so much more being on this side of the border than I would have been on the other side.
But then the second time you did go over.
Right. So the second time was a different, we actually hooked up with a couple of different people and met a couple of different people while we were over there the first time. And one of them was a Canadian, we call him Canadian Joe. He was bringing in aid, medical aid. And he had special requests from Bakhmut fire station for medical aid and for, I'm going to mess this name up, but it's Pushable.
It's all right. I mean,
Anyways, it was another hospital that we stopped at and brought aid to, which was they had 200 soldiers there that were being treated for shell shock. I mean, when's the last time shell shock was an issue? It was World War II, Vietnam. You know, we're talking 50 years, and these guys were just super nice people, but zombies. They were just relieved to be away from that front and just the constant bombardment, you know. But I guess that's the Russian MO, you know, just nuke and pave and move in, but not to get political with it. Anyways,
That's okay.
So the second trip, we had a mission to bring aid. We were
Did
able
you
to
meet
get.
either of these guys on the second trip?
So when I knew I was asked to go on the second trip and bring the aid that was coming from Canadian Joe from Canada through customs, and then I was bringing it over on the plane. I immediately thought of Anton. I called him right away. I said, "Hey, I'm coming on a second trip." He actually said, "Really, when are you coming?" He ended up quitting his job just so he could help support this trip. Like I was like, no, don't quit your job. You know, like
don't do that.
no, don't quit your job. He's like, nah. And maybe he can say it in his words, but he was like,
I'm just lazy. I didn't want to work.
it's not really a job I like anyway. So, but he literally just dropped everything to help support this trip. You know, get us a minibus, get us SIM cards. You know, like the full support of everything you would need it for logistics on the ground in Poland for when we land in Warsaw. The second person I called was David. Obviously, me and Calvin were already talking about it, but I called David next, and I said, David, you know, I'm going into Ukraine again. I'm wondering if you want to come with me, because we had, you know, had a good relationship on the first trip and really wanted to, again, have a familiar face, saying, you know, been there, done that. So I called David, and David was like, yeah, I'm in. When is it? You know, it was like one of those guys, like you call in the middle of the night and you say, hey, I've got a problem.
Oh, kind of like when you call me.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of like when you call me.
Yeah, I was like, Josh, we're going to need your backhoe. Don't ask any questions.
Yeah.
And you say, which car are we driving, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of response.
Yeah, that's
so it was amazing. You know, he was willing to.
David, were you
help out.
over there already, or were you in the UK when Mike called you?
I was back in the UK. I'd been back for about 6 weeks.
Okay.
Because I'd been out there previously with the Canadians, and it turned into a long stretch. I'd been out there continuously for about 10 weeks at that point. So then I'd gone back, and my wife said, "You need a break."
Yeah.
She knows me well. And I got back, and she said, "You need a break." So I had a break.
So 6 weeks was enough then.
And then he phoned me.
Yeah.
She's brilliant. She just said, "Okay, when are you going?
Nice.
Stay safe."
Yeah. And was that your first time going to the front? Because you guys went to the front line that time, correct?
Yeah.
That was your first time for you going to the
That
front
was
line?
at the front. I'd been in Ukraine a lot by then,
Yeah.
but not to the front. I'd been to hospitals because I was driving Canadian doctors, so it was all hospitals and clinics. So I'd seen a lot of soldiers,
Yeah.
and I'd been to places that had been attacked several times, but not while I was there.
Yeah.
We'd got air raid sirens go off on a fairly regular basis, and early on, you'd get a reaction. By the time at the end, people just live their lives. They
But
have
from
to.
what I understand, from what Mike was talking about with me, you guys this time were 100 meters away from the front line, 200, 300 meters.
Yeah, we've got video where you can hear the shells incoming, and they're landing very close.
Yeah, that's crazy. But you were delivering medical supplies at that point?
So it turned into something bigger. You know, you can only bring so much medical supplies through a plane. You know, your bags can only be so big. We got as much as we could. We also went to like a local secondhand and bought a bunch of winter clothes. We bought a whole van full of food and aid. We bought chainsaws, which were much needed. They would send like a whole, and I never served, never had the honor, but what'd you call a squad? The whole squad would have to stop and use handsaws to build bunkers. So it'd take them a whole day, and they'd be doing with handsaws. So we bought 3 chainsaws.
A squad of Ukrainian soldiers.
Correct. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Or like maybe a platoon.
You bought them chainsaws.
Yeah. So we bought we bought chainsaws for not only for one of the groups, 110th that we visited, but for the Bakhmut fire station, and they are taking down trees, clearing roads, just like the Keene Fire Department, and they needed that equipment. They gave us a list: shovels, hammers, tools, as many as they could get. So we filled up some carts of that. We went to the Castorama, which is like a Home Depot or a Lowe's there, which was interesting. My card got declined because they thought it was a scam. Had to call them every purchase that I made over there.
Every time you had to call.
Yeah, it was. Thankfully, Anton had international calling because it costs $1 million, $5 a minute to talk to the credit card company. Like, can you verify who you are? Yeah, I just did this 5 minutes ago. But anyways, we took a day and got all that prepared. And again, with the help of Anton and everybody getting together, obviously we wanted to get additional tools for breakdowns or, cover, just simple things that you would normally have in your own vehicle, jacks, anyways. But those were supplies that were sent to us from Alter. I'm not going to say his name right. He's the deputy chief of the Bakhmut fire station. Super nice guy. He speaks English, which was awesome.
Helpful.
Yeah,
very
definitely.
helpful. Just an amazing guy. I don't know if we can say this on air or not, but we got some. I don't know. Are you comfortable with sharing that, David?
Film.
No, about Alter and the situation.
The Bakhmut fire service, fire and rescue service, have left now.
They were just evacuated. We found out yesterday that they're no longer going to provide fire services in Bakhmut because it's basically
They're moving in.
It's a wasteland. Yeah, I mean they've encircled it now. So it's to give you an idea of the situation when we were there. I mean, again, it was pretty much encircled, constant bombardment. But they had 32 guys. Sleeping
on the fire department?
in the fire department, sleeping in one room, and then all of the officers were up on the second floor.
Yep.
It was to leave your family. To give you a context, most of the people that live in the Donbass region speak Russian because it's so close to Russian border. So it made it kind of hard. And what he explained to me, I said, well, why don't you leave? Why don't you go with your family? Why don't you? Just asking the normal questions that you would ask. And he explained that, it's kind of, and maybe I took this on my own, I don't know, my own knowledge, but he explained it where they mostly speak Russian. So if he was to move somewhere closer or to the other side, they would be more suspect. Not speaking as much Ukrainian.
Gotcha.
So it was kind of that. This is my home. This is where I'm from. This is my fire department.
Yep.
That pride, and I'm here to help the people.
Yep.
This is what I signed up for. And all of the 32 other guys felt the same way. And we've got pictures of the flak jackets on the like I showed you the pictures, but there's bullet holes in all of the fire equipment. There was a huge crater from mortar right out front of it that blew out all the windows. This fire station was really nice, but it's now all boarded up. Luckily, this one was surrounded by like 3 15-story buildings, and this is only a 2-story fire station, so they had like a
encompassed.
It was protected in a way, so that I think that's the only reason why they stayed as long as they did. It was because they had these large buildings around it. Would you concur, David?
Yeah, and as you said, they were incredibly courageous people. You know, to stay in that situation.
The second time you guys went over, did you ever like worry about your safety? Was there ever a point in time you're like, "Holy crap, I got to get out of here"?
So, so we went with another. Total crew, right?
Can I ask one question before this? Were you full kit?
Full kit.
Okay.
Yeah, full kit, helmet, full vest.
Yep. Everyone that was with your group?
Yes.
No. David said no.
Well, there was one who didn't wear it. He had it, but he didn't always wear it.
Okay.
But yes, we
All
had
right.
it.
So there was. Sorry. So you at this point there was this one time you didn't feel safe.
I'm going to say something. It's funny is we asked for pictures. I want to just take pictures with the guys. They said, yeah, absolutely. Well, what did they all do? They took all their kit off. So we're the only ones in kit, and they have no kit on, right?
Yeah.
So we're standing in front of these guys full kit, and they have no kit. They're in their T-shirts or their T-shirt uniforms.
These look badass.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yeah, these kids don't
Rambo.
Yeah. Where are you here?
That's
and
crazy.
they're kind of, you just learn, it's like, I guess a good term would be when in Rome, do what Rome's do. So we were just watching them, if they felt or heard something, we were like, all right, time to go inside.
Yeah.
If
they felt scared or worried.
exactly. We were just watching them, obviously, answer your question. Of course, who wouldn't? But I think for me, I knew that what we were doing outweighed the risk.
was
these
more
people.
important,
It was more important for me, anyways. I think working with David, I was so thankful that he came with because we had 3 vehicles. We had a lead vehicle and then 2 minibuses. So we were split up, but me and David decided, because we had driven before, and Calvin wanted to be in the Go Fast green military vehicle. So he was the lead vehicle, so we were always going, okay, when is it not, when does it outweigh that risk versus reward? And we constantly went back and forth on that. I don't know, maybe David wants to talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, you're not any use if you're dead. And
Correct.
We wanted to be able to go and help as much as we could and come back and do it again and again. And so you have to kind of judge what you think is safe to do. It's easy, I think, to be gung-ho about it, and you can end up dead very easily. We questioned a great deal the whole time we were there. But the closer we got to the front, the more you question and say, well, okay, how safe are we? Once we'd met the guys at the fire department, I think I certainly felt, and I'm pretty confident Mike felt, they were very good at judging the risk.
The situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there was one very bizarre moment when everything had been done, and Arta said, "Tea, anybody?" So we all kind of said, "Yeah."
When
And
in
he
Rome.
said, come
Drink
in.
the
So we
tea.
went inside, went upstairs, sat around in their kind of restroom, and that's the wrong phrase in America, isn't it? It wasn't the toilets. It was just a nice, comfortable room. And he said, "I'll go and get biscuits."
Yeah.
So we drank tea and ate biscuits and chatted and
While
shared.
you heard these missiles.
And kind of, but it was for that kind of 20 minutes, I didn't feel unsafe. It sounds crazy because it was just as unsafe as any other time.
Yeah.
Anything could have come in and landed right where it did.
But just that little bit of home
But it
made
just,
you feel.
it just seemed more important.
And you guys were doing that for a lot of people. You were bringing that home feeling to these people.
To give you some perspective on that, just before I left the UK to come here, I was browsing through the newspaper. There was an article from UNHCR saying that they'd managed to get a couple of truckloads of aid to Bakhmut, and it was the first time since the start of the war. So that gives you some context for the way the world has viewed Bakhmut.
Yeah.
Because we were there, and the guy that we were with, I call him English Tony because there are so many nationalities to deal with.
Yep.
He'd been there before. And I think the world needs to know that there are a lot of people who have helped in lots of places where sometimes the aid agencies don't get.
Yeah. And no one's ever going to know that these people helped.
No, unless they get killed, and then they're briefly
It's
on the
not
news.
gonna. It's not gonna make the national news that you guys helped this group of people. That's wonderful.
Yeah, sorry.
So, just again, we stay up to date on it, and there were 2 American aid workers that were killed in Bakhmut this week.
Wow.
So, it's
Getting pretty bad there.
It is. I don't know if they're pulling out strategically or if they're, trying to draw in. I don't know, but there's been massive losses on the Russian sides there. But I know that we helped the people that were there or that chose to stay that had that same feeling as Alter had about this is home. We're here to defend our home, just like I would do in Keene. Keene is my home. I would help defend it. Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Help get I hope there's a foreigner out there that would say, hey, take my wife, get her to a safe place. Know that there was someone like me that was be willing to do that. The same way that I did that for someone else. Yeah. And I just think of it that way. And really, it's a great experience. It definitely took a lot of coordination. It just didn't happen on our own. We didn't do it on a whim. We had a lot of intelligence and people on the ground and contacts that we had met over a period of time. So it wasn't just a willy-nilly, So I guess there was some relief in that as well to kind of answer the question of, hey, this is a safe place. This is a safe place. We know where we can go, and we had contacts. So I wouldn't recommend just going there. But if anybody wanted to, I could certainly hook them up with. David is still going. He's still collecting aid in the UK. He's got a minibus dedicated to bringing aid to Ukraine. Occasionally that minibus breaks down and he needs help fixing it. A lot of people have been generous enough to donate the aid that he can bring over. But I think David can speak for himself. But if there are people that still want to help, I know it's last on the news, and especially with this this terrible crisis in
Turkey.
In Turkey, yeah.
Oh yeah,
with the
earthquake. Was that? Yeah.
7.8 earthquake. So I know that there's going to be a lot of aid going there, but there's a lot of people and family that are still being persecuted and need that additional help. So I'm just doing that plug for David.
Thank you.
But
well, yeah. Do you have anything else to add, David?
Very, very quickly, I would say the first thing that struck me is the number of people that we have moved and the number of people we've encountered for whom seeing foreign people supporting there is very important. And what has been said to me more than once, and I'm on Facebook, Mike isn't, and I've had lots of the people who we've transported and who we've taken aid to, they write, and they almost invariably say the same thing, which is to know that there are people from outside helping makes the world a difference. And the other thing I would say is a lot of people have asked me, why don't people just leave? Why don't they just flee those towns? And the answer is a lot of people can't. A lot of old people, a lot of people looking after disabled relatives, a lot of very poor people, they just can't. Not unless people like us go and get them.
Correct.
And I think it's really important that people understand that. They're not staying there because they're stupid. They're staying there because they can't leave. Or I've got a photograph. It's one of the most moving photographs I've ever taken of a very elderly lady in one of the blocks of flats. And I managed to persuade her to wave at me. She's very old. And I suspect if you were to say, come on, Gran, or Babushka, why don't you leave? She would probably say, up yours, I've lived here for the last
This is
90
my-
years.
this is my house."
home, and
Yeah.
I'm not leaving.
Well, and that's the thing here too. I mean, you have to understand. Oh, there we go. You have to understand that people can look on the outside in and say, "Oh, you're so stupid. Why don't you just leave?" I guarantee you, 9 out of 10 people you tell to leave in America, they're not moving. They're not going to leave. They're not going to leave their home. They're going to stay put and do whatever they're going to do, and they're going to live their life, and they're going to figure it out, and they're going to get through it some way or another, or they're going to die, whatever it is. But it's a lot easier to say, "Oh, just leave and go start up somewhere else." Like, do you know how difficult that is just to pick up and start up somewhere else? Even in this country where you have a lot of means and you have the money to be able to transport yourself somewhere and go and you know what, you're going to buy a new house, you're going to start a new life, you're going to meet new people, you're going to do all these things. It's a lot to do. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of, and I can't imagine for people that don't have the means, that don't have that kind of money or access or anything else. So I definitely don't think that that's a thing.
You're absolutely right. And what we've learned is so many of the people that we transported have gone back to Ukraine.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because they can't cope in the same way. Let me just turn the situation around. You flee from here and you go to a country with a different language and a different alphabet.
Yeah.
And
Now what do I
imagine how
do?
you would-
Now what
do
do I
you
do?
Now what are you going to do?
No,
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick up and go back.
Yeah, and a lot of people do. Can I just pick up on the plug that Mike said? Because
Please.
if I don't, then it won't get said. We try to raise money all the time because it costs a great deal to get out to Ukraine and back and to keep the minibus running and to fill it with aid. And if anybody wants to donate anything, we've got a GoFundMe page. It's called David's Drive. Blame my daughter. I have no idea about
So
social media.
David's Drive.
David's
on
Drive for
GoFundMe.
Ukraine on
David's
GoFundMe.
Drive for Ukraine. We'll make sure we
Yeah,
post
we'll
that
plug
link.
that for sure.
We'll post that link on Facebook. All of our stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I know Anton hasn't talked a lot, but maybe he can just, I don't know what your time frames are here, but
It's whatever it is.
All right. So he continues to work. After I left, I kind of put this one orphanage kind of under my wing, and Anton was an extreme gentleman and continued. I would send money so that he could buy food for this orphanage. It was basically, I call it an orphanage, but it was like a community hall, or it was a hotel with a conference center. And they took this conference center and they just laid out cots for all of the refugees. And this one was specifically meant for. I'm just going to grab some water real quick.
Sure.
Yeah.
For mothers with young mothers with young kids. So Anton would go back and drop off food, check up on the families that I had been trying to help, and he continues to this day. And maybe he can talk a little bit about that struggle that David was talking about, where
Jeff,
people were.
Talk to us, Anton. Tell us what you have during the.
So there's he did one for Christmas. This is a kid that's taking his savings that he saves pretty much everything he does at work. So that he makes at work, and he would make special things for these Ukrainian families that are right on the border and still living in Poland.
So I wouldn't agree with most stuff you guys are saying, because they are the one who are helping, right? They are the one who are there. They are the one who do most of the stuff. I'm just feeling that's what I feel. I'm not saying it's a thing. It's true. That's what I feel. I feel like I'm responsible to help them, because anything they do for Ukraine, right? They do it for me because I'm from Ukraine. It's my country. So I don't like I don't like when you thank me, or you're saying nice things about me, because it's like it's it's the least I can do for you guys. It's all the good things are you, and it all happened thanks to you. And I want to thank you for sharing the link too, because it's David's link, but it's still.
Is there any way to help you directly, or do we help David and it goes to Anton as well a little bit? Okay, so if we help David, it will get to Anton.
We cooperate all the time.
Yeah.
And every little bit helps. Anything helps.
Anytime.
Does the U.S. dollar go a lot further in Ukraine than it does here?
The dollar and the pound goes a very long way.
Okay.
In fact, we've started buying food and aid in Poland and Ukraine. All the money that I get goes to buy aid. Mm-hmm. We go shopping together.
Okay.
So we spend that money.
That's awesome.
Any money that's donated, we shop together. All of us shop together to buy the stuff. I just thought I'd chuck that one in. So because he won't say it because he's too modest.
He's too
that's
modest.
fine.
Yeah,
That's
he's
good.
there with us. You know, when you get a pallet of water, you know,
So how much is a pallet of water over there?
it's as tall as the ceiling in this room.
How much
and
money?
it's like $170.
That's it.
Yeah, $170. You get a pallet of water. So we bought. I don't know. A big thing over there that's easy to use and easy to easy for them to cook with little power because there's rolling blackouts. Is like a noodle, like we would call ramen noodles here, but they have a bunch of different noodle types over there.
Yep.
And then the canned meat. We were able to, I think it was for $2,000 we filled the van.
Yep.
Wow.
And then
So even if someone donated a couple $100,
goes
it would go a long way.
You could buy 20-30 boxes of noodles and that will feed. I know it's not healthy, but it actually gets some nourishment. It's it's I don't know what nourishment there is in it, but it's a treat. You know, it's a treat as well, and it brings up the spirit. You know, when you get something good like that, it's not potato, it's not something left over in a can or something. It is a treat, but also lifts spirits. So,
well, I will certainly donate when we get off this podcast. I'll donate to David's Drive for Ukraine.
Yeah,
for
amazing,
sure.
Josh. Thank you.
Through both my businesses, or all three of my businesses, I'll do that. And hopefully posting it on these pages will get a couple other people. I know I have a big draw, and I have a big group of people that might donate a little bit here and there.
And it really is whatever you can. I mean, a couple $100 goes a long way, but we don't need that from one person.
Yeah.
You know, if you can donate $5,
even
more, whatever it is,
$5 from 500 people is a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Instead of buying a cup of coffee, go ahead and donate to a cause that's actually going to feed like children and
From people
things.
we've met firsthand.
These
people
here
are going
in
out.
Keene right now.
Are going out risking their lives to help others.
Can I just add, we have no overheads. None of us get paid.
You're not paying.
We're
Yeah.
not.
It's all
We feed
volunteer.
ourselves. We don't take money to feed ourselves.
Everything's going directly
Wherever
to.
we stay, we pay for.
Yep.
The only thing this donated money pays for is fuel and aid.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
So I will say there is no other charity that does that. Every other charity, if you're going to donate to, I'm a Marine, so I'll say Toys for Tots. But any of these other charities, they all have overhead, and typically on the best of them, 90%, maybe a little more, 91, 92 at the very best charities. That's where your money's going to go, and the rest of it's going to go to admin fees and paying people to help run the charity, which makes sense. This, it 100% is going, so you don't have to worry about some scam thing or
this isn't that at all.
someone else taking advantage.
And to kind of pump David again, this is David's. I don't have a 501c3. I know that people had helped me on my way both times, but David's been on the BBC. He's done a bunch of articles. He spoke on the phone quite a few times. So he actually got a phone call the other day as well, if you don't mind me saying, David. But they were wondering if he was going to Turkey to help there.
Oh, wow.
But I think right now his heart's still in Ukraine with all the people that he's met. And I don't know, David, your feeling on that?
It's difficult, so difficult when you see people suffering to kind of, it's not taking sides. My focus stays on Ukraine simply because I've got a network now. We've got a network now.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing now. We know what's safe and what's not safe. And it really is a big team effort. So, for example, again, Anton hasn't mentioned this. When I go to Ukraine, I stay at his grandmother's house.
Okay.
His uncle comes with us. He doesn't speak English. I don't speak Ukrainian.
Sure.
But we managed to get by, and he gets me to places that I would never go.
Yeah.
We were going to Bakhmut. We got to Dnipro the last trip. Spoke to Artur, who said, "Don't come to Bakhmut. You're not going to make it.
Yeah,
I'll come out to Dnipro to get the aid." We left the aid with a friend. The following morning, we left Dnipro. Within hours, Dnipro had been hit and 73 people killed.
Oh my God.
But there is such a large network of people who help. And it's not that I don't want to help in Turkey and in Syria. Of course I would. We all would.
Sure.
In a heartbeat.
But we can only do
What you
so
can do,
much.
and you already have this network. So.
Yeah, it makes sense because you already have the reach. You've already spent the time. You've planted the seeds. You've laid the ground. You've been there before. Going to somewhere else, going to Turkey, for instance, you're going to have to start all over from zero. Whereas somebody else could come over and do that same thing.
And very quickly, I think you'll find that the big agencies will be there.
Yeah.
Already in
absolutely.
Turkey.
Yeah. I'm sure Red Cross is probably already there, and
Samaritan's Purse and
Yeah.
bunch of-
So my focus, and I think our focus, we would stay with what we're doing because we know that we're having some impact with. And I know, that there will be people who say, "Oh, come on, you're driving a couple of minibuses. What good is that?" And the answer is, you help one person, you've helped that one person.
Exactly.
And every one person you help is one more person helped.
I always tell people, what if you were that one person? How much would that mean to you at that point?
Yeah.
You say only one person, and sure, statistically, it's insignificant. But if that's you, that's your entire world. That's everything.
And if you're a family with children, you count in ones.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on. I really appreciate the stories, and I know all of us appreciate what you're doing over there. So I really hope we can help. That's all I have to say. There's not much I can say, man. That was heavy.
Thanks for having us, Josh. I know you've asked me a few times. I was so happy. I was able to, while we were coming back from Kyiv, I was telling him about hog hunting. And I was like, Dave, you want to ever come to the U.S.? And he's like, yeah, I think I would like that. And so I was like, let's make it happen. And that we took a great trip down to Florida. We spent 2 weeks together. It's been amazing.
Did you visit Disneyland?
Oh, so we went through Disneyland on a detour when we went to tactical shit. We ended up having to go through it to in Orlando, but we went to the Space Center.
Oh, okay.
So we went went
Is that
hog
what,
hunting.
Epcot?
We got no, it was Space Center is Cape Canaveral.
Oh,
We watched
the actual NASA.
yeah.
So
we
we were
were
launch.
Yep, we saw.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was the
That's awesome.
SpaceX 200 launch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like 2:45 in the morning.
Yeah, Elon's launching shit all the
It's
time.
amazing. Yeah, it was. At first I was like, launch, but it was
impressive.
amazing.
It's
It
awesome.
was so impressive.
believe it.
And then to go there the next day and spend the day there, it was well worth it. I'd recommend it. It's just neat to see. You think about the risks that we take. Imagine going to space.
Oh, yeah. Holy shit.
There's a lot of uncontrollables there.
Yeah, something goes wrong. Guess what? It's not like
you
the
gotta
bus
figure it out
breaks down on the
yourself,
side of the road and you need to, fix a
Yeah.
flat tire. It doesn't happen in space.
So it's been an unbelievable trip, and I'm glad the guys made it out. Thanks for taking the time away from their families and
Absolutely.
and the situations going on over there. It was a real honor to have them here, and
Glad they got on the podcast and could tell their stories.
exactly,
No, absolutely, yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you.
You're
We're
welcome.
glad we were invited. It means a lot.
Yeah. Anytime.
Definitely.
Welcome back
do you
anytime.
when do you go back?
Sunday is their last day.
Oh.
Yeah, so we just got tonight. We're kind of doing the free food nights.
Okay.
All these people want to meet him because I've talked them up so
Sure.
much, and
We have free food here, too.
Food, we were just at another friend's house tonight before we were on the podcast. I knew we were going to be a little late, but
Sure.
just amazing. Everybody's just been. it's been great.
Oh, I can't imagine. I mean, I know. So just being in the military, and like Anton was saying, where he was saying, you know, it's really difficult when people say, "Oh, thank you for what you've done," and it's like, "What? I haven't really done anything." In the military, I feel, and I don't know if you feel the same way that I do, but all the time, if people know that you're in the military, they say, "Oh, you know, thank you for your service. We really appreciate what you've done." And I look at him like, there's so many other people that have done so much more than I've done. Why are you thanking me when there's all these other people? But you have to realize that, you know, like David was saying earlier, when you help that one person, it makes such a big difference. So it may be insignificant to you and you don't think that you're really helping out so much and that maybe there's more that you can do. But at the end of the day, you know, helping one person is helping that person. And again, it's 100% change in that person's life. So we do really appreciate everything you've done from, you know, people of Keene, from the military, Marines, and other services that aren't as important. We really appreciate everything that you've done. And we got to wrap it up because we're actually we're right at around 2 hours, and that's very long for one of our episodes. But we really thank you for being out here. And if there's any last words that you have, or
No.
all right, well,
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome.
thank you so much. We really appreciate you, and so does the crowd. Apparently,
Yeah, the crowd appreciates very much.
all right.
Hit the button.
Oh, are we
Is it
done?
ended? Is it over already?
All right, no, hold on. We gotta wrap it up here, and out we go.
All right.
That's it. We're out.
Hello, listeners.